Hey everybody, how you doing? Once again, my name is Kanya Langa. I'm the founder of Off Topic. By profession, I'm a chartered accountant. And we have been doing a five-part series. Today is the final of the series where we talk about how companies should be accountable. Well, how companies have said that they are accountable to the people in the workspace and how we need to hold them accountable for the things that are happening to the human race. So, what's happening is that when I was in corporate, I used to see that a lot of people were stressed out at work uh, by means no longer related to the kind of work that they do. So, for example, a person can be stressed out because they need to go underneath the mine and people are dying there. That's just a necessary stress of the work. But now I'm talking about sabotage, I'm talking about just human dignity being destroyed, I'm talking about people getting bullied and removed of their positions just because of how other people feel about them, not because of the merit of their work. So there's a lot of things that have been happening in corporate, that I have seen, I have witnessed, I have also encountered myself. And I've also, since it's been over 2 years that I stopped working in the corporate space as an employee, I'm now working as a consultant. I have been meeting a lot of people ranging from like CEO positions to the general staff. And people are just like, I'm not even willing to give these corporations my effort and strength, because when I gave my effort and strength, I was punished for it. So now I just give the bare minimum so that I can feed my kids. And the sad thing is that if you feed a corporation bare minimum, uh, let's say for 10 years or so, you become bare minimum. And then the strengths, the capabilities, your gifts from God, everything that you had and you were able to use to combat anything that's happening here on earth, to be the one that's the solutions providers here on earth, dies with that. That is the whole point of the corporation bullying and ill treating people. It's so that their natural gifts could die and they could just be handed over to corporations for free. So now these gifts that people were supposed to be using to come up with current time solutions, they can no longer use because they dead inside. And um, I understand that these corporations, maybe they're not our father's companies, you know. I understand that we could build our own companies, you know, with the grace of the Most High, and also follow God in the law and order of life so that we can build corporations that are sustainable and that have generational wealth so that our children don't have to start from the beginning and beg to be placed in positions which they naturally could achieve or be a part of. So, because it seems like when we are trying to build our own corporations, they get burnt down. If you look at America, they try to do that. You will get the exact information and the technical, parts of this information, but they used to have their own type of Wall Street that was burned down. In South Africa, we've been giving banks our money for years, like ever since we were in university. The first time you were 19 and you open your bank card, sometimes at 13. But when it comes to the time, and we even get qualified, we go to WITS, UCT, UJ, UP, we go to all these places just to get a stamp of approval. But when it's time for them to fund our businesses or take our ideas seriously, they're like, no, John has a credit of over 100 years, so we're rather funding that than something we don't even believe in. So a lot of people have taken these things as normal. They've taken these things as, listen, this is how things have always been and this is how things will be. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when does it change? Does it change when Jesus comes back, or does it change because we are the current time solutions? We are the ones that are supposed to assess things that are really incorrect. Like, these things are ethically incorrect, they're lawfully incorrect. And, from the reports that they give on the financial perspective of a business, the business reports are not correct because they're not telling what's happening in the companies in terms of how they treat people. And so all of these things can be minimized. They can be minimized by an independent inspection of a company and its operations to see what is going on, why is there low staff morale, and this can even boost your finances, because once you figure out, oh, that people are not really dealing well with the technology, people don't really understand the new strategy of a company, they don't know what to do from here onwards, then we can combat that through training. But other than that, if we are assessing your company independently without any emotions involved, just because it's a corporate citizen, a company is a corporate citizen that needs to abide by the laws of South Africa. So as we assess the company to see, are we abiding by the laws when it comes to everything else and in the human beings? You know, as I said before, the three basic pillars of companies' accountability should be ethics, what they morally say, the professional codes of conduct, and just fair practices amongst all other companies. And then we have legislation, which is the biggest, because in the legislation we've got the Employees Act, the Employment Equity Act, the Labor Relations. We've got health and safety. Please watch my previous videos to see if you want more details on these acts for the people of an entity. And then we've got health and safety. And then we've got Companies Act, which then says if a company is working in South Africa, registered in South Africa, and operating in South Africa, it should have a social and ethics committee. That social and ethics committee, which should make sure that the citizens, well, the people, not the citizens only, every single person that works in that company is taken care of ethically and lawfully. So now, a lot of abuse that happens in companies cannot be proved, sort of like, you can't physically prove that you're being bullied, right? It's not really that easy. And HR serves the company. HR is employed by the company to serve the company's interests. So then sometimes HR will do its job by keeping you quiet, by making sure that you comply with what the company wants, even if it's not in your best interests, even if it's killing you. So we're just asking, for the regulators, for the companies themselves who believe that they want to fix the moral issues, the people relations, and, to boost their human capital, to come forth and let us, assess if the company is really reporting what it's doing in the entity. Like if you're going to put out a report, CIPC basically said, companies should now mandatorily report on the sustainability of an entity. So if you are saying that you are sustainable, so sustainability, as I've said in my previous videos, please watch my videos. I started my videos in August 2024. So just go to YouTube, go to Instagram, go to LinkedIn, watch the previous videos. I spoke a lot about ESG. ESG is basically how companies are now they're mandatory supposed to report on the environment, the social, and the governance of an entity to prove that they are sustainable. So in the environment, it's how they treat the planet. In the governance, it's how they are managed and led. And then in the social, it's how they treat their people inside the business and how they treat people outside the business. So those are the things that companies are reporting on, and they're supposed to report on by law, right? Because CIPC is a legal framework for companies in South Africa. So if that's the case, and we know that these companies are reporting saying that they're sustainable, they're doing well, yet we've got such a low employee morale, we've got people, brilliant minds that have come into this company that have been silenced by these companies, and it's getting worse by the second. We've got people who are on 7 different pills just because of work stress, and this is like unnecessary work stress. Things like, there are some companies who know that you're brilliant, right? And then they will hire you and you will do some work, and because you are brilliant, and they couldn't believe that you could do that without their approval or without their stamp, without them having an input on it, they start to sabotage you. They'll give you big clients, maybe let's say you are working on something, a client like Massmart, then they'll say, we heard that she did wonders in Massmart. Let's give her Vodacom, for example. And then once you start there in Vodacom, they start depleting your image, making sure that you walk into a room, no coffee would be served to you. They make your trainees literally disrespect you so that you would feel so small, and then afterwards they kick you out before you can even show your greatness. These are things that can't be recorded. These are things that can't be reported, but people are afraid to report because they look like they're sour. You cannot hire me for such a large company to manage managers in that company, to be a senior manager in that company, and then afterwards you kick me out like a fly, you treat me like garbage. And when I have a mental breakdown, it's like, she's unwell. No, guys, this corporate bullying can kill people. It does kill people. Some people kill themselves. And it seems like no one's doing anything about it. And it's getting worse. Why then do we go to these precious schools? Why do we travel internationally? Why do we do such great work and prove our worth, and it's still not good enough? If I am able to get the work done, if I am able to work with a strong and energetic team around me, if I am able to overcome stress and bring results, then I shouldn't be punished. That punishment should be lawfully reprimanded. You understand? So, if there's anybody who sees my videos who's in leadership positions and does nothing about this until the white man approves of these videos, then you shouldn't be alive. You have no place being here. You're doing nothing. You're just a clanging cymbal. You're just there making a noise, doing whatever you're told. You have no leadership and no authority, and no one respects you. All right? So here are the videos. Here's what I've said. Now go and do something about it. I thank you so much, and I cannot wait to work with you. Cheers.